Hello. I'm not sure who's joining me today. That was an awful squeaky hello. Hi, Michelle. I apologize for the shadow that's being casted. I'm actually looking for some blinds just because it is so darn hard to get good lighting with the window behind me. Hi, Ruby, aka Shannon. Well, we're going to get right into it. And I know today's a busy day for crafters, not only because it is the season to get busy with other things, but it's also small business in Woodstock. So I'm hoping, it's a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia, I'm hoping the weather is the same there for you. This is the first day we've seen any sun for over 2.5 weeks. So it is a very nice day. And this is our last page for 2024. I can't believe it. I really don't know where the time went now looking back, but what I'll do once this page is all complete and dried, I will do a review of the year and I'll post it as a reel for a good review. So today, this is our color palette that we're working with. It's our Winter December color palette. And this is like a golden. I don't think it's showing as a golden on the computer. This is like a paler yellow, a gray, a really dark gray, and almost a black. So we're dealing with some very tranquil colors. And when we did our prints, this is what I got way back when, and it is taped for anybody who may have missed it. Used alcohol inks, and I got some very pretty prints that goes along with these colors. Like, I really like this one, and this was kind of like a brush off one, and I have some ideas of what I'm going to do today, so I hope it, as always, it looks good in my mind. We'll see how it turns out. So we have lots of colors to choose from for this particular color palette, and there's like a black. And I always keep, like, you know, the ones that we press to get a print through the stencils. I always keep those because you just never know. So we have lots of beautiful prints. So today, this is kind of where my mind is going. I pulled out some spritz. The only spritz that I have in my stash that goes with the color palette. I know I have some in a box at Unique. But, of course, with the postal strike, they're still there. But I'm really happy to learn that they've come up with some alternatives for shipping. I'm just going to grab my scissors behind me. So I also looked into my mica stains, because the spritz is a little bit different than the mica. But they both give you really nice sparkle and shine. Hi, Lynn. I don't know why my voice is so cracky. I was wrapping some gifts prior to this and doing laundry. So I'm busy too. Actually, this here looks, it says Weatherwood, but it looks really blue. So it'll be, I haven't used it yet. So it'll be nice to see what kind of color we get. And then I pulled the Iron Gate mica stain, the Harvest Moon, because this is a nice gold. And I don't think I'll be using all of these, but I just wanted to get a feel for the colors. Hickory Smoke as our dark one. I have Frozen Fog, which I don't think I'll use because I think all it's going to do is just give us a silver sparkle. And Decayed. Decayed is one of my favorite, but it comes out like a tarnished gold, so I think I might put that one to the side. So maybe I'll focus on these ones. Definitely the Weatherwood. So I'm going to just spritz my paper just to lay down some color. And I already did my journaling and I put my gesso on top of it, so we're all good to go there. Okay, I hope I didn't lose you. Nope, you're still there. I clicked on something and I'm like, oh dear, did I lose everybody? Because that happened the last time we were on, but I didn't click anything. It just kind of went off. I know Facebook's been doing some funny things. And I also pulled out of my stash golden washi tape. So this is an older line, 49th and Market, and I never broke the washi tape. Like I never used it. So that was keeping with our color palette. So I'm thinking we're going to use some of that. So this is my idea. I'm going to put some color down. I'm going to use this stencil from Stamperia. And it is a nice snowflake border. And I think I'm going to do some borders down both sides with the Tim Holtz Snowfall Grit Paste. So that's going to be pretty. So I'm going to put my color down first and then do the border. And then I'm just going to hand draw a large triangle to resemble a Christmas tree. And we're going to fill that Christmas tree in with different pieces of our paper that we printed from. And then on this side, I think I'm going to do four kind of rectangles. And I'll do that on the trimmer so they're all the same. And I pulled out of my stash again some older Tim Holtz stamps with dies. I have this one, and then I have this Gina K one. Like, this is all about, art journaling is all about pulling from your stash, right? So don't worry about having the same one, but I wanted smaller figures or even sayings that I can stamp and run through the small die cut because I don't want a big die cut on my table. And we're going to kind of build up the rectangles that are on this side. So I think that's going to be fun. And I do have some Tim Holtz stuff here, ideology sayings from 2023. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you what I pulled for our vignette box that I have no idea. It's kind of giving me nightmares because it's those kind of projects that I get nervous on doing live because I really can't do it ahead of time because then there's really nothing to do live with. So I'm kind of creating in the moment and I don't think really fast. So I'm not sure how much of it will get done. It's kind of like our journal pages. I usually get the majority of it done. I like to tell you the ideas and then I usually come back with a finished look. And I have my heat tool here that we can speed up the heating of the spritz. So I kind of want just some color, so I'm kind of going high. The faster you spritz it, the larger your drops. And we can, because this is gessoed, we can certainly throw some water down to make that kind of blend a little bit. I like that. So we're just gonna let that do some of its own movement. And it is kind of gray, what that weatherwood is exactly how it's, I don't know why I ever mistrust what Mr. Holtz says, but it is. It's kind of gray with very mild blue shine to it. So with the, so spritz. So the spritz has, I hope I don't say this backwards, but it has color plus it has the shimmer. The mica is clear liquid and it's just the shimmer that's colored. What are you guys up to today? Tell me some fun stuff. You know, you can use your fingers to drag. And I know my tree's going to be here, so it doesn't have to be a whole lot of color there. I need to concentrate on the edges more than anything. But I can come back in later with ink blending tool and a distress ink if I want to get my edges a little darker. Okay. So that's that one. Now I think I want to do, this is just Distress Stain, so I don't even have to shake it. It is actually the, it's true to its color. So this is Hickory Smoke. So I do want to kind of do my edges. And I am going to spritz it with a little bit of water just to get some flow going. And I do have paper down in between my pages for this very reason, because I don't want it to leak on my other pages that have already been completed. So I'm going to put some extra padding down there with some paper. I'm just going to sop this part up a little bit and we'll dry it. Hi Gay, great treats to munch on. Oh, great make and take and free gift. That's awesome. You guys are so very lucky. The ones of you that are close and handy to the store. Went to Unique. Oh, that's good. Are they busy? I hope they're busy. I watched the video of the carolers the other day. They're beautiful voices. I think Dan and Heather is really enjoying that camaraderie of having people pop into the store and share. Now for those that aren't accustomed to mixed media, art journaling and sprays and all that stuff, it does kind of get looking messy, but you have to trust the process. It's got to be a little messy before it can be beautiful. And remember, we're going to be covering a lot of this. It was steady when you were there. Well, that's awesome. I always like to hear that. This is Iron Gate Mica. So again, a darker pigment. And I'm really going to focus on the lighter shades, I think, of our paper, but we'll see. You want to make sure that the mixing ball is there and all the mica's been released from the bottom. It's good to leave them on their side for a little bit ahead of time, but I just decided at last minute to pull these little spritzes out. A little bit of water, because I just love how the water kind of mixes it and makes it flow. It wasn't crowded at all. That's awesome. They have quite a big space, so it's going to take, like the day they had their grand opening, with all the people in it, people were still able to move around quite freely. So they have nice wide aisles, which is really nice for a shopping experience. And we even had people that in that day that had wheelchairs, and they were able to maneuver. So that's great. Did anybody make a crafty wish list for this year? I really don't. I don't, not anymore. I used to, when I first got into different things, I would send my husband with a list and tell him which sites to shop from. But now I kind of like being a little bit choosy and in the moment, and I have a lot of the bigger things. So that's great. Just want to get this dry. That's pretty dry. Oh, I hear my husband and son is home, I think. So if you hear noise, they're not going to know that I'm live, so I'll have to shout at them. And just pardon me, because I was wrapping gifts. So I have to make sure I got nothing. You know, as old as what everybody is, I still like Christmas presents. So I'm putting some stuff in here. Close my door. I know it's fun giving surprises. And this year, both of my kids are in Nova Scotia, which they haven't been here for a long time. So we are excited about that. Now I'm going to put some of the Harvest Moon in. This has a real good, nice gold quality, but I'm going to be a little bit careful because I don't want to overcrowd. And then you can always take out the wick and put spritzes, but this really has like a nice yellow undertone. And you don't need much of that. So I'm actually going to wipe some up here, because that's a lot of yellow. Well, a lot of Harvest Moon, but it's a very pretty gold, shimmery color. So now I'm going to dry this really well, because the next step is going to be my stencil. And I'm going to use the Grit Paste Snowfall. So once the Harvest Moon dries, the yellow kind of really calms down, because I did hit it with quite a bit of water. So the yellow calms down, but you're left with this really nice golden shimmer. It's nice for any kind of skies, especially ones that you put a moon in, for all seasons. It was released during Halloween, but it's good for all seasons. I'm just going to bring my color palette. You know, not bad, not bad. And it might look really yellow, depends on if the sun's getting from behind me, but it's not bad. And we can always tone it down with gesso. So, I'm just looking at that yellow. I think it's okay. But I might tone it down with a little bit of gesso as I say that. And all I'm just using, I have a really thick gesso, but for something like this I just want the regular gesso, which is a little bit thinner, and I'm just going to dab a little bit on my cloth and just kind of pat it down, because I don't want to cover it all, but I do want to take some of that brightness from the yellow away and just kind of leave the shimmer. Because I want the sparkle grit paste to show up too. There, I think I like that. I'm going to blast it with some heat again. That's one of the things you have to remember with mixed media, is that you have to dry it in between your layers, because if not, you're going to end up with a crumpled mess. The sprays are awesome to cover chipboard pieces with. I have to throw that out there. If you want your chipboard pieces coated and covered quickly, the spritz is awesome. And if you want to make sure that you're getting some good pigment down with the spritz, just go over your pieces first with either white gesso or black gesso. And then when you spray them, they're very nice. So I have my Grit Paste Snowfall. And you know my little trick of putting my, and I didn't use this since last year, and it's still very nice and moist. I'm going to take my palette knife, and I want to get a good amount. And so this is Stamperia KST DL83. Don't know if I want the swirlies. I just want to make sure. Maybe I do want the swirlies. I just want to make sure I have enough for my Christmas tree. And it's got to be kind of hit and miss. I don't have to get in every crevice, because it's really the sparkle that I want to show up in the end. And you may not be able to see that at all, but there's some nice high dimensional texture. And then when it dries, it's just so glittery. And it's almost like got sand into it. So it's that grit paste, but it's called Snowfall. So you know how fresh snow looks like, especially if you have a heavy frost and you get up in the morning and it's just all so glittery? This is exactly what this looks like. So I put a good generous helping on there. And this is the kind of stuff that you want to air dry. So I might have to be a little bit careful on my next steps. And you can even take this and, like, I have to go get rid of my stencil. So I'm going to go get rid of that. And then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with it as well when we get our tree down. Grit paste to me is almost like Stickles, but grittier. It's like it's got sand into it. So I'm just going to scrape this off in there for the moment and put my cover back on. But when my tree is all done, I'm going to take some of this and just put it on the tree like it's snow on the tree. Yes, I do love it. And I'm liking this page already. Okay, so it's wet here and it's wet over there, but I can go ahead with my pencil, because when everything's all dry, then I will go back in with, and do some shading. So right now I just kind of want just a rough, we don't have to be exact. It can kind of come over on this page a little bit. So just a triangle. Yes, it is a nice stencil, Ruby. Stamperia stencils, I love them. And it's one of those things, I have a lot of stencils, and I try to use kind of them all. This one, I have a Christmas bin. I think I spoke of it before, and like a winter bin. So anything related to winter or Christmas, I leave in that bin. So that's my rough outline for my tree. And we're going to start with the tape. I love this tape. I think this one will be too wide. these two are going to be nice. So I just want to put down some tape. And to help my tape stick, because we do have lots of layers on there, I'm going to use some matte gel. So I have some on my styrofoam, or on my saran wrap. I'm just going to kind of pounce it here, and I'll take my brush and spread it to start with. And then we'll also do some gel medium over the top. So gel medium will make your stains and any of your water soluble inks react again, but that's okay because I'm actually covering this area. Okay. So I'm going to take some tape. I'm just going to cut off little sections. I'm going to stick it down. And again, I'm not looking to be exact with my tree shape, because in the end I can do a large border with it with a pen or something. But I'll try to not go over the lines too much, as long as I'm in the lines. And I like this tape. And yes, you're going to get inky fingers. That kind of comes with it. But that's okay. And maybe a smaller strip right up top. So we're working on our tree first. Too big. And my husband tells me I have the crookedest eyes ever, so I'm sure my washi tape isn't on there straight. And then we have this one that has kind of some words, but I think I'm going to reach into my stack of paper and pull some paper. I really like this paper, so I'm definitely going to use that for one of my triangles over here. So I'm going to put that one aside for a minute. I want to get some darker colors in because it's so light. I'm going to take my trimmer. I didn't think I'd need my little table set up, but bear with me. And I'm going to cut them off camera, but you're going to see. I'll bring them in. I'm just making little strips. And I'm first cutting off the white space of my paper. So I don't want the white space in there. But you can do you. If you want some white strips, you certainly can. And I'm not going to make them all the same width. I'm going to go different widths. It's not fun to have everything completely the same. So I have some of this darker one. So I think I'll put the darker one on the bottom. And now when you go in the crease of your book, make sure that you really varnish it in there. And we will put multi-medium on top, but there's enough there just to stick it. And maybe one up here. And I'm going to go up a little higher just because I cut it that way. And another one down here. Then we have this skinnier one. But maybe I'll put one right here. And you can see I'm just taking off bits, ripping bits off. So that's that one. And see what else we have. So we have this one. That's just kind of a blob. I don't want that one. I don't want that one. I don't want that one. This has lots of sparkle on it. I do kind of like this one. Oh, and I do like that one. Maybe we'll do a few of these ones, and some of these, and some of this one. There, we'll do some of these three. Does everybody have their Christmas shopping done? I know it's early, but I always like getting ahead, and I don't start super early, but I have quite a bit of it done. I don't have a big list neither. Okay. I'm going to put some of this one down up here. Oh, right there. Maybe some more of this brighter yellow up here. Yeah, I'm not worried if it's going outside the lines at all, because we'll fix that up in the end. Some of this greenish color down. What are you guys saying out there? I have one more stamp to give away, and I think I will do it for my Tim Holtz Mixed Media vignette. It's another Diane Revley, and it's a Santa one. And the winner of the last one, Jessica, I do believe. I haven't gotten it out to her yet because the mail went on strike. Now I think, even though I have this thicker dark one, and this is where you can kind of start layering as well, just to give it a little bit more dimension. So I'm just going to put some glue there and put this yellow one right on top. What kind of traditions do you guys have for cooking? I have, I make what's called crab ragoons. When I lived in western New Brunswick, we were close to the border, and all the Chinese restaurants sold these delicious little delicacies wrapped up in an egg roll cover called crab ragoons. And basically it is cream cheese with crab, and a few other things all rolled up and deep fried. I mean, how can you go wrong? So I make those every year, and I've finessed the recipe that I feel like I've done pretty good to get it almost to the way they have it, which is terrific. So I make those. I didn't make them last year, but I'm making them this year since both of my kids are going to be home and they haven't had them in a while. And I also do egg rolls, homemade egg rolls, which is with 50% beef and pork, and then a bunch of spices. So that's always fun. Okay, I like the tree. Again, I apologize for the shadowing that's happening, but I do like the tree. And I think I'm going to be going back in with a little bit more gesso to tone down the yellow spots. But I want to wait until the grit paste, the snow paste, is dry, and it's almost dry actually. It's not doing too bad. Now I'll have to cut out a star or figure out what I'm going to use for a star on my tree. So let me first find my gesso again. And this is where the thick gesso might come in handy. The thin gesso is good, but then you have to put, when it dries, it kind of creates translucency. So the heavy gesso, I have this in white and black. I'm just going to use my finger, and I'm just going to pat it down, and it is quite thick, so you don't have to use as much. And it kind of makes it look kind of snowy too, so maybe I'll just use this kind of tap tap. It's making some little points. Sausage stuffing is a family favorite. Your great, isn't that awesome? Yeah, like it that's what it is, right? It's those traditions that it just makes it feel like home. This year is going to be a little bit hard for my family, as my mom passed away in February of last year, or February of this year, and she did spend Christmas with us last year, which I was so grateful for, and she was as healthy as could be, and just stuff happened, but you know, it is hard, but I know she'll be with us in spirit, that's for sure. I just want to kind of put more down here. Sausage stuffing. Sounds delightful. And I never ask people for the recipes because, you know, that's kind of what makes it tradition too, is nobody does it quite like your family. So people that ask for my recipes for the crab ragoons, I'm like, no, but if you want me to make you the mixture, and I'll just charge you the cost of the ingredients, and you can roll them and fry them, I'll certainly do that for you. So that's fun. But they're now trying to guess, and they're making their own version of it. Okay. I'm gonna finish playing with that. But I am doing out my Christmas cards tomorrow. That's what's on the docket tomorrow. Like I said, Canada Post is on strike, but that's neither here or there. I send out a lot of Christmas cards, and the receivers will get them when they get them, but I just like to do it because it's more than just about Christmas. It's about staying in touch with those people that are important to you. Okay, so that's the tree. I gotta let it do some drying. This is almost dry, so this is probably dry too. I'm not sure if you can, oh, maybe you can see the sparkle and the dimension a little bit when I lift it up. Yeah, you miss your dad and his coleslaw. Yep, and it doesn't matter if you stand right beside him and watch it. Watch him how he makes it. It just never comes out the same. So I'm going to do some 4 by 3 to start. So if I do a 4 by 3 there, 4 by 3 here, that's going to kind of cover up most of my paste though over here, but you know what, I'm okay with that because I kind of got it in my head that I'm going to do it this way. So 4 by 3. And I'm using the pieces that I cut for my tree. It's going to be a little bit too, so I can't go 4 by 3. I might have to go 3 by 3, which is okay too. I like the 3 by 3. And then one more for there, which I don't really want it to be the bright yellow. Let's see what else I have over here. That's why we make lots of prints, so we'll have good pickings. Oh, I said I wanted this one. So it's got a little bit of yellow into it. And the other thing you can do too is you can use like a darker gray background. So when I come and do my tree to shade it in, I'll definitely use a darker shade to shade it in. So those I can stick down. I'll stick them down first, and then we'll go over them with the gesso. And I like art journaling because you don't have to be perfect. Like, you know, when you're doing scrapbook layouts or cards, you kind of have to, it's not that you're looking for perfection, but there has to be some rhyme to the reason as to where you're pasting things and how straight or narrow they are. But I find with art journaling, you do not have to do that. Now I'm burnishing this paper in because of the grit paste that's under it. It's kind of bumpy. So I want to make sure that the paper sticks down good. And just kind of, and that's the other reason why I like using just plain copy paper for gel prints, because you're able to get them in the nooks and crannies. I think I need more. More gel. So Taylor Swift has been and is now gone. I heard, like I've had some friends go from my area and they said it was just the best experience. Definitely worth the money they invested, and it was worth all the hype. So that was really nice to hear. You like people having great experiences, especially when it comes at a, such long planning and commitment for tickets. So I'm just burnishing this in because of the bumps, but you know what's nice, if I can burnish this really good, is that the design from the stencil underneath, when it's all dry, if I want to, I can take a blending tool and go over the top of it, and it should pick up the pattern, which I might try. Maybe not on this one because it already has pattern, but this one where it's plain, I might have to try that. And of course I'll do some shading all around the squares. I call them squares now because they were I ended up cutting them 3 by 3. And they're almost going to be like frames. So I'll build little scenes in each frame using some stamps and dies. And I do have the people, the Christmas people. It's called Christmas Noel. Some of the people from last year, so I might put some people in here. Okay, so I'm liking where that's going. And again, it's a multi-medium, so anything that reacts with water is going to react with this glue. So just know that. Like if you didn't want any reaction at all, then don't use a distress product. Use an archival product, something of that nature. Okay, I just want to make sure for now things are down before I throw my brush in the water. And I'm going to put this back on. I'll need it again, my multi-medium. I will need it again when I put my different elements down on the page. But for now, I can put it in there. I have a baby wipe. Shove that down in there. Put the cover on. And now I'm going to move this to the side for now. I don't know how I feel about all that yellow. I might have to go over it again. I'll have to let it take a good dry. And maybe the Harvest Moon was just a little bit too bright for what I wanted. So I might go over it again with gesso and then give it another spritz of the Weatherwood down here. We'll see. Sometimes I have to walk away from it and see how it works. So while that's drying, I'm going to just take my scraps that I have and we're going to do some die cutting. Some stamping and die cutting from the things that I pulled out. Let me get my little, I love this little machine. Love it. It is so handy dandy. And I gotta get some black ink. Now I have oodles of different kinds of black ink. Please know it doesn't matter what kind of black ink you have. I just want something that's not water reactive. So an archival, an oil-based, something like that. I also have this stamp. This I got in 2021. It was special release. You know, when Tim Holtz does his collaboration with different companies. So I think I'm going to cut this one out of this dark and have a Santa with a sleigh going across. And there is a little crescent moon as well, but I think it's too tiny for the layout. But I do think this one will work great. And the only way you can get this particular one, because it was just a one and done offer, is if you go look for it on like a buy, sell, and trade kind of situation. But you'll probably pay a fortune because that's just what his stuff does. And I would say it wouldn't be worth a fortune because I'm sure there's other companies that have little Santa flying sleighs. I need to get a pokey tool. Where's my pokey tool? Look, it matches the colors we're working with. And because it's just copy paper, they cut out really nice with any of the dies. So this one doesn't have a stamp, it was just the die. And I'm happy with that. I'm just poking out the little pieces. So I'm going to put that over there in my collection. I think that one there will look nice on the page. Does the gesso pull up the color? Sometimes the regular gesso, like the thin gesso, it will. That's why I do like the heavy gesso. And if you're patient enough and you tap a little, let it dry, tap a little, you'll build your layers up that way. Let's see what else. I have the people. I have all the people. Let's see if there's like a scale of people or person that would fit well in one of those squares. And these are supposed to be all Christmassy. Some of them look creepy to me, but now I hear somebody coming in, so if I give a yell to let them know what I'm doing, stay patient. Oh, this one's nice. Which one? I think I like these two. And then there's, see, now I'm getting into where I like more than, and then because it has December stamped, like one of these would fit right into the squares. So, okay, you guys decide for me which one. We have this one with, it looks like two men holding cameras, and it's time stamped December 1943. We have this one, it's a group of ladies with a great big toboggan. Or we have this one with a little girl and the snowman in a tree. Which one do you think we should use on our page? Because that would fit right into one of those squares nicely. I'll let you guys choose for me. So we got snowman, two men, or sleigh. Whoever votes first, I'm using. Okay, I'm going to put them aside, and I'm going to wait for a comment. I'll pick these guys up. Maybe I mixed in some of my spooky ones with my Christmas ones, because some of these look kind of spooky. Yeah, there's some great Christmas ones in there though. I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to pull out, this is an old, this is Retro Christmas. It's an old Tim Holtz. Snowman, yay Catherine, we gotcha. Okay, I'm going to put the snowman, little girl with the snowman, in the Christmas tree. That's the one that's going to go on my page. These ones get put back in the package. Yeah, so this is a very old one, and it comes with the dies, which is super, super nice. Oh, look, there's a star. We found our star for our tree. You like the ladies with the toboggan? You were too slow, Michelle. But I have them for another project. Okay, so let's do the star for our tree. I might go over time just a little bit because I want to also show you what I pulled out for our vignette box. And I seen that Heather has some packages put together, which is awesome. A nice way to get a good variety of the products without having to buy full packages, because those products last you a long time. So there's the star, and I'm just doing everything in black. Especially now that we're using a black photo. And plus it was kind of like one of the colors of our palette, so that's why I want to stamp in black. And my Tim Holtz stamps, I do not part with them. I cherish them. I'm just going to put this little die on, and that will be the star for our tree. And I'm sure I had wooden stars here and other ones, but I want something that I can glue down and not have too much physical dimension. You had more to type. You're cute. The star is there for our tree. What else? We have the big retro Santa. I don't think he'll fit through my... Yeah, no, he won't fit through the little sidekick here, so I'm not going to use him. But we have bells. So I want to look at, and I'm using the papers that we used for gel printing, and I'm just stamping right over those papers because I know they'll go along with what we have. Maybe I'll use this one for the bells. And I'm just going to use this as my stamping platform too. But no matter how old the stamps are, the red rubber stamps, you cannot beat them. I love the red rubber. They're more pricey, I know that. And I certainly like clear stamps. I have enough of them. But my heart is with the red rubber. The detail that you get with them is just terrific. So there's my bells, and then when I go in and do my shading, I can shade on these bells a little bit more to bring out whatever color within our color scheme that I want. And I know I'm going to use some of the washi tape along the edges as well. So I'm just keeping that off to the side. I'll cut this one out and then I'll show you kind of what I have gathered for a vignette. Because we're just about at our hour. And it's such a busy time of the year. You come join me for an hour, I feel blessed. So I don't want to outstay my welcome. That's for sure. Okay, I might do the Santa, but I'll have to get out my other machine for that. So I'm just going to put this to the side, and I'll cut out more from what the stamps that I shown you. I might be able to pick out some ephemera from the stash that I got going on here. So we'll see, but I don't want anything too heavy for our journaling. So this is a box of goodies. Maybe if I go like this and just flip through them, that I've gathered for the vignette. And the vignette box that I'm going to be using is, I think it's the 10 by 10 one that Heather showed last night. I think that's the one that she showed. So I have in here, and I tried to keep true to the Tim Holtz, and I have more Tim Holtz kicking around, but I just wanted to throw some items. So I have the people that we can use. What's in here? Oh, this is, okay, I'll show you. This is my cutting, so I did some die cut. This is the cutting for the sleigh die that I have. I have these acetates, and these are all from like older ephemera packs. I have the Craft Core cardstock in here. I do have the wooden embossing folder, which I did use. So this is the sleigh die. It's one of my favorites. I got it last year, and it feels such a nice sleigh. It's really nice. In case you want Heather to look for it, the number is 666339. So it's the Tim Holtz sleigh die. It's really nice, and I'm going to be building that. I just cut out the pieces using Craft cardstock, which comes in multiple colors. And the 3D embossing folder, it's all the wood grain, that's Tim Holtz. And I have a little tree that I'll use. I have one of the snowmen, and he showed this year how to do the snowman to make him really look vintage using alloys. And I do have the alloy, so I think I will be copying his technique to give us a grungy snowman. I have some bells. This is his Christmas tin. I had to get that one year. It's just so fun. And there's just a bunch of washi tape. Now, these are not Tim Holtz. I do not believe, not all of them anyway, but they are Christmas washi tapes. And I keep them in this little tin. What else do I have in here? Oh, I have this tin of different ephemera pieces over the years. So I have some of his candy cane, peppermint, some of these kind of, I don't know what you call those, button things. I have a couple of gems. I have some stars, a few little bells. So there's some trinkets in there. What else do I have? So I just went through my stash and picked out things. I have a lot of Tim Holtz stamps, and I have a lot of his Christmas ones. Some of these I have never used, shame on me. So I picked out some stamps thinking stamp and then fussy cut maybe. Not sure. I might even do that to finish off our pages. There's that one. There's this one, look, that hasn't even broke the package yet, but I'm really interested in the tree. I have some lights, and then some of, this is from his stash of this year. So Heather did give me some of her package. So this is some strips. So I'm sure some of that will be in what she has at the store. I have the Christmas Noel stickers for 2024. This swap package I did buy myself. It is the collection. It's the backdrops. It's almost like, feels almost like wallpaper. It's very nice, and I use this to cut some dies from. And then we have the sparkly stuff. So for dies, I went really retro and pulled my Biggs dies. So anybody that's been around this crafting world for a long time, there's these dies, they're called Sizzix Biggs dies. So they are really thick. You can cut chipboard with these, and it is what I did. So I cut out, this one is the carolers. So it's the man and the woman. So I cut out the carolers. I'm trying to get where you might be able to see. There's the name. And then I cut out their clothes out of the backdrop. So they're going to be all colored, and I'll have them all glued together when I do my vignette, I think. Maybe. I did a couple of windows. So this is the Biggs windows. And the reason I use these, again, is because I wanted to cut chipboard first so that there's some dimension. This one is some fancy, it's called pendants. So some fancy handle-like things. And then this one is the bell jar with pedestal. So I cut all those out of chipboard, and I have the pieces all ready to go. So this is kind of my little stash, and like I said, it stresses me out a little bit because I can't make this ahead of time, because then they're really, all I'll be doing is showing you what I created, really not how. So I'm going to have to really think about it, and I might have to play around a little bit, but I just want it to have lots of dimension. I want there to be lights. Yeah, so we're going to have some fun. And this is coming up. It should be in the event calendar. I think it's next weekend, but I can't say for sure. I'll have to look, see where it is in the event calendar. It has to be a weekend. If I have it during a weekday evening, I'm going to have to change it, because there's just no way I can do that in an evening. It might be a longer video. Probably won't get it finished, but it will be a longer video. So until then, I'm going to keep building my pieces on my December layout page. I'll come back and show you, take a picture and show you what the finished look is. And I hope you have a terrific rest of your weekend, and we will chat real soon. Thanks, everyone.